back to the LeagueCraft ggClassic presented by Arcade. We are in Champ Select, and you can see my iTunes playlist. So there we go. We are now going to be going into the picks and bans phase here. The first bans were Cassiopeia from TSM.Evo and Vladimir from Team Dynamic. So I guess that TSM.Evo did not want Cassiopeia ending up in Paradoxical's hands, and I suppose that Vladimir pick was aimed squarely at Wings of Death. Actually, it was definitely, what am I saying, guys? It was definitely aimed at Salsi. Salsi, one of the most famous Vladimir and Kennen players, so, and Oriana as well, of course. So that ban being aimed at Salsi in mid lane. So Cumley is back with me. I am Monte Cristo. Welcome back, Cumley.
Oh, hi. Glad to be back.
And let's see what else we got. We got a Nocturne ban going down right now. Again, Atlanta is currently subbing for Nintendo.X on Team Dynamic, so that is why he is with us today. Malphite and Alistar quickly being banned out by Team Dynamic, so there will be no Alistar shenanigans for Unstoppable this game. Olaf going... I'm not sure why they're banning Olaf without Nintendo there. I think they may be on autopilot.
Yeah, they probably just saw TD and they're just like, bye, Olaf.
You know, since Nintendo.X always plays Olaf jungle on Team Dynamic, I'm not sure that any of them, the rest of them, actually know how to play Olaf at all. I mean, maybe Atlanta does, but certainly nobody is as renowned and legendary as Nintendo.X in the jungle on Olaf. And Urgot being the final ban here on Purple Team Dynamic, so they don't want to deal with that nonsense from Aframu in bot lane, although I don't typically see Afro playing Urgot. And Shen being the first pick. I guess we maybe missed a ban here. That's a little interesting.
Oh, that is a little interesting.
I wonder if that was intentional or whether my client is just bugged out and I can't see it.
I'm going to go with not intentional. That's my initial guess.
So there we have that Shen pickup coming first, and Shyvana being pulled immediately. That's an interesting pick. We don't see Shyvana as much anymore, although we have seen Atlanta playing her in the jungle, so I would imagine that is going to go straight to Atlanta and not to Zion Spartans in top lane. We have seen Atlanta playing Shyvana in this tournament already.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see the rest of the team here. You know, we have that Nunu. We talked again earlier a little bit about how Nunu typically goes with very specific AD carries, but we've been seeing them kind of mix it up quite a bit this tournament. A lot of people playing Nunu with a lot of different AD carries, so I'm going to be interested to see, again, like we said earlier, that Misfortune has been very, very common for TD, so I wouldn't be very surprised at all if we saw the Misfortune Nunu combo come up from them. And
Yatna Win, not known for playing aggressive support, so I would be surprised if he locks in Leona. That is a very unusual pick. Nat usually plays Janna, Soraka. He plays very defensive, safe supports typically. I'm very unused to seeing him play Leona.
Yeah, same here, but I guess, you know, you have to be able to mix it up, and maybe he's got a little bit of Leona up his sleeve. He's been holding back for a special occasion.
Well, it would be a special occasion indeed. By the way, guys, if TSM.Evo wins this, we have a four-way 3-2 tie, which will have to be broken by tiebreakers from the head-to-head matches. I honestly do not know how that will look right now. I can't tell you guys. We will actually probably have to sit down with the admins tonight and figure it out. That will only happen if TSM.Evo wins this game and Team Dynamic loses. So Pixel coming out with that Nunu, so we're not going to see... well, we might see the same thing we saw last game, while Curse and Pobelter did an excellent job with that Nunu. And are we going to see a Lux? No. Troll pick. Zig flashing around to all of his various favorite AD carries. And what will we see now? It will be... just have to wait and see.
He's going to close his eyes and just keep clicking. And whichever one he ends up on is going to be the one that he's going to be playing.
I imagine he's going to go MF with this Nunu, because that's the combo they've been running all tournament. There we go, and he locks it in.
Well, there you go. We're going to see that Rise as well as Misfortune. We're going to have a Rise versus Karthus mid lane, which means it's going to be completely uneventful, almost certainly, unless there's some kind of crazy jungler gank. Not the most action-packed lane in the world.
No, but it will be difficult for Paradoxical to farm up against Karthus, who will be pushing the lane quite hard, and Rise, of course, farming into turret, not really his specialty. I'm really afraid, Cumley, right now. I am afraid of the Karthus ult with Leona coming down on bot lane. I'm afraid of the Shen ults on top of Karthus ults, turning ganks into, like, you know, a 2v1 gank into basically like a 3v2 counter gank. I think this is a very interesting comp that TSM is planning on running, and one that requires real split-second timing in order to execute.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if you've heard this or not, but it turns out that global ultimates are pretty good.
I actually hadn't. I'm really glad you're here to tell me these things.
Yeah, it's called competitive insight, where I come from.
And Wings of Death picking up that Jax. He is a known Jax player, and Salsi picking up the Sivir for Aphromoo. That is an Aphromoo specialty champ, sort of like Draven. He does play Draven and, more commonly, to be fair, Sivir. But he is a known Sivir player. And although I have to say I'm not sure how much that will affect. I mean, obviously Sivir is extremely good against champions like Blitzcrank and Leona. Of course, Nunu is still going to be very aggressive. We know, having seen previous games in this tournament, that TD will be very aggressive with this Nunu Misfortune lane and can block snowballs and double ups and other stuff like that, I imagine. And really, that is very interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen Zion Spartan play Nidalee before.
Well, we still have some time to be trolled here for a little bit, so we'll have to see if that actually gets locked in. Might be a little bit surprising, but that could be a fun lane to watch.
Yeah, Atlanta also known for very unconventional jungle picks. I have seen him jungle TF in a tournament before.
That's beautiful.
It didn't go well, but I have seen it. I have seen it. So, Atlanta, let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see where this Nidalee ends up going. Like I said, with Atlanta, you could never count anything out. And yes, of course, that he was playing Siobhan earlier this tournament, so it makes sense that he's playing it again. And Zion Spartan will be going Nidalee in top lane. Zion Spartan not traditionally known for his Nidalee, really known for kind of his Irelia play, typically. But I haven't seen him play Nidalee at all today, and I have never seen him play Nidalee before. So it'll be interesting to see how he ranks up against some of the other high-quality top lane Nidalee players, such as the famous Hotshot GG, as well as X-Hazard, an excellent Nidalee player up there in top lane.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. I was trying to think of the other ones when you brought that up, and I stopped at Hotshot GG, but that is a good point. He is also very good in Nidalee. So yeah, we're going to have to see how that lane plays out specifically, and this should be another really good game.
Yeah, no doubt, and everything's on the line here for TSM.Evo. If they lose, they will not be moving on to the next stage of the tournament. If they win, I honestly... we will have to see how the tiebreakers kind of shake out. We will figure it out, but we will not have an immediate answer for you guys. Probably not tonight. We're going to have to sit down with some pens and papers and rocket scientists in order to deduce the meaning of this tiebreaker and its implications for next weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I'm kind of rooting for it just to mess with you.
Thanks.
I'm going to be
really
unbiased because I'm a professional, so I'm going to be unbiased.
And as we tick down here from delay, I want to mention for the last time our sponsors, Arcade. They are a question and answer site for video games. They are offering prizes. If you guys head on over there, for this weekend and next weekend and all through next week, they will be offering prizes. And if you ask or answer a question that receives 5 upvotes, you will be entered into a raffle amongst all of the other people who have 5 upvotes. And you can enter as many times as you like if you continue to get upvotes on different questions and answers. And the winner, will receive, of the raffle, will receive a graphics card up to $250 in value, and there are a bunch of RP cards as well. Kingston as well has a bunch of RAM that we're giving away in conjunction with them, like GG Chronicle on Facebook, like HyperX Community on Facebook, and come and post on our Facebook wall that's about that contest, and you will be eligible to win some RAM for yourself. We've got other memory sticks and prizes for our Twitter as well. Look on our Twitter account to retweet some tweets. That's the word. Twitter, GG Chronicle is our username on Twitter for the tweets. And that wraps it about it for our sponsors. But do check them out, guys. Very worth your time. And as we tick down, I'm going to go ahead and play Arcade's commercial because I just never get tired of looking at how great that site is.
Yeah.
All right, so we are in the loading screen right now. Looks like my borderless mode has, of course, bugged out a little bit, so it's going to take me just a couple seconds to get back in. But Comley is here to break down all the action for you that I might miss. And, of course, we have Riot's lovely spectator mode. And speaking of Riot, shout out to my good friend at Riot, Byronic Hero, who I know is watching this game. Thanks a lot, dude, for watching, and love your work. So, anyway, getting back into this game right now. Comley, what are you seeing as we move into the early stages of this game? Any shenanigans? Are there shenanigans afoot?
There's no direct shenanigans. We do see 5 boots picked up here by Evo, you know, going for that very aggressive kind of early Leona able to position. They're kind of grouping up here a little bit towards their Wraith. I'm not sure if they're going to do any kind of invade or if they're just trying to bait out and invade from the other team and then punish them by having all 5 there. We're going to have to wait a little bit to find out.
Yeah.
Almost they're moving aggressively. They might actually be going in here for a very early invade, and they're trying to position. Looks like Atlanta did see them. He did spot the invade, and so it looks like TD is going to go ahead and spread out and get out of that area, and so nothing is going to come from it.
Yeah, you'll notice that Nat Nguyen doesn't actually have a level 1 skill yet, so it's waiting to see whether they're going to use the Shield of Daybreak or, of course, the Zenith Blade to see if they can initiate there. But now looks like Paradoxical's coming around, playing a bit of a risk. Wow, this could be really bad for TD if Nat goes in and gets a Daybreak off, and 2 flashes immediately going out from Rise and Nunu to get out of there, and they will chase Atlanta off of that blue buff. Burnout is used to escape rather rapidly.
Yeah, and you can't underestimate the importance of 2 flashes, you know. Essentially, both mid and the support bot lane now going to go to lane without a flash for quite a bit, and that's pretty punishing.
Yeah, especially considering that one of the, the other support is Leona in bot lane, and sometimes you really, really need those flashes to get away.
Yeah, so we're going to see if they can capitalize that into an early kill. I'm definitely going to be looking for Nat to play fairly aggressively now. He knows that they don't have that flash, and it's going to be looking to set something up fairly early here.
Yeah, especially considering Unstoppable also is going to get this red buff first, so he will be available for a gank, and we might see Pixel going down very soon here on his Nunu.
Yes, so it looks like everybody is going to be going for lanes, and we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what they can make happen here. I am looking forward to seeing Aphromoo play this Sivir. Of course, Sivir, one of my favorite AD carries, and so it's always fun to see him play it as well. He's just so good at that Sivir.
Yeah, and I'm interested. I actually haven't ever seen a Sivir-Leona lane combo before either, and I'm super excited to see TD running again this MF Nunu combo that has gotten me so excited, so hot and bothered throughout this tournament, given how well and they've been doing with it and how aggressively they've been able to zone out and trade with their opponents. And we're going to see some early action here. Nat looking very, very aggressive moving into that second brush.
Yeah, of course, you want to have that positioning as aggressive as possible. Thankfully, they do have a ward there. Nat is aware of it. He can see the creep walk directly towards him, so he knows the ward is there. And we're seeing Zion Spartan have to burn a lot of health pots very quickly here in the top lane. Jack's doing a very good job. We do have first blood. Ooh.
Yeah, looks like Atlanta was trying to do a little counter jungling there and got caught by Unstoppable. Exhaust going off on him from Unstoppable, right there, from Salsi, rather. Looks like Salsi's exhaust was the one that was used, and they were picking up that kill very easily as Salsi converged on that point in River, and now Salsi up a kill already in mid lane, so it's going to make him able to reach that level 6 just a hair faster and should synergize really well with these ganks from Shen.
Yeah, little red buff never hurt anybody as well. Going to be able to put out that auto attack harassment on Karthus. So that's pretty awesome for him.
Yeah, it's not something you normally have to worry about in mid lane, but Rise, Paradoxical, has a new concern, a fresh and novel concern to deal with Karthus.
Yeah, so very, very good for him. We're going to see if they can snowball that. Like you said, getting that 6 as early as possible, so strong, really lets you kind of snowball that if you're able to get a kill on this. We do see a little action coming down here bottom.
And yeah, some more trades going down. Exhaust going down now on Zig, and Aphromoo coming up and getting immediately snowballed, having to pull out, and now Ignite going down on Nat, Heal going down as well, Zig following up, and will be able to get the kill. Eclipse goes down, Zig going in, and will that Boomerang Blade take him down? Yes, it will, so Zig goes down as well. Pixel's not going to follow this up. He doesn't have any mana in order to actually kill Aphromoo. Boomerang Blade coming, will be able to pick up this kill, and yes! Beautiful Boomerang Blade under turret, chasing Pixel down, and now what a trade there by Aphromoo. Atlanta coming in now. Will he actually be able to secure this kill? Is Spell Shield back up? We'll find out. Yes, it is. But Burnout chasing him down right now. And will he be able to pick it up? He's going to dodge that Boomerang Blade. And nice job there by Atlanta to pick up that kill and stop Salsi from farming that wave.
Yeah, that was very well played by Aframo. You know, it is unfortunate that he was able to come in and actually get that kill. Atlanta was able to come in and get that kill, but very well played there to get the double kill on that Sivir.
Yeah, really nice moves there by Aframo, showing exactly how dangerous he can be. And, you know, one of the problems is that, you know, a lot of these pro players probably don't see a lot of Sivir in bottom lane, so they don't really have an idea about how to play against her. It could be a real mind game advantage for people who are used to playing unorthodox champions.
Yeah, I kind of like that knowledge gap when you're playing something a little bit unique or playing something in a new position or something like that. You actually have a fairly significant advantage, and you know, it's nice to have that kind of advantage going into, especially top-tier players where they're playing against the same thing very consistently, and it can really throw off their game.
Yeah, it looks like ggSportin will be building AD in Italy, so we're going to see either a tanky or a straight-up AD build this game, and not kind of a hotshot style poking, spear tossing in Italy. And it looks like they're going in for a trade right now. Unstoppable coming around. Can ggSportin get out? He doesn't have 6 yet. He's going to try and juke through the bushes, but now Exhaust going down on him, and that taunt finishing him up, and ggSportin falling in top lane, and now the score is 4-2 in favor of TSM.Evo.
Yeah, so very nice patience there you saw by the Shen. You know, not taunting right away. He knows that Nidalee is able to get away if you don't play it quite right. He had the patience to really wait for the right timing on that taunt.
Yeah, very good. You know, he waited for that exhaust to come up as well. His exhaust is now down. You'll notice that Unstoppable playing an aggressive build, and now Nat coming in onto Zig, and Eclipse burning off, and Zig getting very low, and another Boomerang Blade in exactly the same place as earlier, finishing off, trapping that MF against the wall, and now we will see MF going down one more time. Zig now 1-2-0, picking up a huge fat stack of Doran's blades there in bot lane in order to try and survive, but even that isn't helping him against the terror of the Aframo Sivir.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's what TD should be feeling right now. Oh, we do see Shen is actually going to catch the very last second of that TP on Rise. Rise is in a bad spot.
Oh no, here comes the Zenith Blade. Shield of Daybreak going down. That Terror Boomerang hitting Paradoxical again, and it looks like, for all the world, and Nat is going to pick up that kill with Eclipse, and they are going to get probably a dragon out of that, considering that Shen is currently at full life. Let's see if they can actually grab it or not. Paradoxical going down in a convincing fashion. No, they will not be going out of it. Shen instead will just be going out of the way, over the wall, and all of a sudden, Wings of Death disconnects. He didn't die, fortunately. He was in no danger. He was just walking back to lane, so we will wait for these guys to come back in. In the meantime, we already, at 7 minutes, have a 2.3 thousand gold gap between these two squads, and that's pretty significant at this point in the game.
Yeah, and what a wonderful time to tell you that your names on top of your screen might be on the wrong side. I just got a message. Yeah, really helpful. But of course, we're seeing just how powerful, you know, Sivir is able to put out a lot of early game damage. You know, typically you think of something like Tristana or even maybe something like a Corki that's able to put a lot of early game bursts, but you can't underestimate Sivir, especially if you're very good at landing. Those boomerangs, those Qs are so strong.
Yeah, indeed, and we're really seeing that now, even against an MF that has 3 Doran's Blade and that extra life and kind of sustain into the lane. And I'm sorry the colors are going to be wrong here on this overlay for you guys, but it's better than having them t'other way around. So I'm not going to go back in right now and change that all when we don't know when the game is going to be starting. I'd rather provide you some at least interesting and entertaining commentary as opposed to fiddling around with graphics. In the meantime, let's take a look at the Jax build that we're seeing right now. Looks like he's going to be going the Phage first, no surprise there. Salsi still hasn't gone back for items, yet he does have nearly 2,000 gold, so he's going to be able to pick up some nice stuff. He did get that first blood, so we will be able to see him doing quite well when he comes back. In the meantime, Wings of Death has reconnected. Sivir already having 2,600 gold, compared to MF's 2,000, so already 600 ahead in bottom lane. That is going to be a pretty significant advantage, and we'll have to see how this goes. Let's see if this unpause happens right away or not.
It looks like they said 1 second he is still lagging, so they just want to iron out those issues a little bit while they already have the game paused, and hopefully get back into it, and he won't lag too bad.
Yep, and I don't know, I had this TD lane comp of New Nimbus Fortune, which has been working so well in terms of early aggression. They really haven't been doing the best job of dodging those boomerang blades from Aframo. They walk into the wall and get pinned by, kind of pinned against the wall by it under turret, instead of dashing to the side as one might expect. And now the pause coming back down, and looks like we're going to see some aggressive play. Zenith Blade goes down on Zig, Ignite, and they will kill him. Salsi's ult going down as well. Will they be able to pick up Pixel as well? No, they will not, but they will take down MF once again. And this is a tragic lane for Zig today. It's worked so well all day, this lane comp, and now it is coming undone.
Yeah, well, the problem there is that was without the Karthus ultimate. They didn't need the Karthus ultimate to actually secure the kill on Misfortune. And so that tells you a lot about what's going to be happening the next time that ultimate is actually up. Now, thankfully, it's a little bit longer than it used to be, which is great. But once it is back up, they're going to be in a very bad position. You know, even if she gains a little bit of survivability, it's not going to be enough to help.
Right, and Zion Spartan as well, now down in farm in top lane somehow, despite having that ranged advantage. Wings of Death doing a great job on Jax up there, doing some early trading and kind of keeping him away from that minion line, as we can see right now, forcing him to move back, and that Phage, of course, going to help a lot in these trades, and now he's just going to chase Zion Spartan right out, and without that, with the AD build, you're not going to get the same kind of sustain that you would with the AP on the heal.
Yeah, that's definitely important to know. And you do see that whenever he gets to Phage proc, you know, Jax knows that he can play fairly aggressively on this Nidalee. Typically, her mobility is a very difficult thing to deal with if you want to try to chase her, because she can put a lot of harass back on you. But if you get that slow, he's really kind of able to stick to her much easier, and it's a good key point for him to go ahead and keep harassing at that point.
Right, so as we draw closer to the inevitable tiebreaker scenario, which I guess we should have assumed that this tournament would have, given the action that's happened, Salsi going to go pick up blue buff right now, and he's going to be one happy Lich in mid lane with that blue buff, spamming those lay wastes to his heart's content and picking up that farm. Rai's going to go pick up the second blue buff as well, and Atlanta going to go back to jungler. No, he's going to maybe try a gank with this red buff. Nope. Nope. Thinks better of it. They do ping a ward. They know there's a ward there at Dragon. So he's actually going to try a lane gank instead, and we'll see how this goes. But there is a ward right there for some reason. And now we're going to see Pixel getting got on again. And here comes the ult from Pixel, and the ult as the Dragon smashes Natnuin in the face. And they are going to pick up this kill as Aphromoo tries to chase him down, but doesn't quite get him this time. Shen's going to ult in onto Aphromoo and exhaust Atlanta immediately. Will they be able to get out? Zig's ult on FF is going to do some damage, but is going to result in Shyvana coming. Paradoxical and Salsi now coming down in bot lane. Ziggs getting a double up onto Aphromoo and killing him. Now Ziggs has a red buff, is chasing him under the turret. Can he get it? And no, that wall of pain from Karthus will prevent the tower dive from Paradoxical's Rise, MF, and Nunu. So all in all, a one-for-one trade and a miraculous escape by Unstoppable while Salsi will hold this. Will they try and dive this? A little bit risky, but if they can get this blue buff off Karthus, it would be huge. And now Rune Prison going down, Ice Blast going down, and a beautiful kill there from all three sides on bottom turret. Rise coming in from the back, MF from the top, and Nunu from the side closest to purple team space. Are they going to go for a dragon right now? They don't have Oracle, and they know there's a ward there. They pinged it earlier, but they're going to go for it all the same. And MF now double buff. They are coming back into this game, and they're going to pick up a dragon, and all of a sudden they are 1,000 gold down. They have cut that deficit and gotten some kills onto some extremely important champions like MF.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that during that last gank on the MF, or I should say the last lane kill on MF, that Karthus actually used his ultimate, because he didn't get an assist from it, he didn't get any gold from it, and during that last gank, if he had it up, they would have been able to secure the kill on Nunu very early in that fight, and suddenly he's not there to do a lot of the things that he was doing, especially the chase down, diving the turret with Karthus. It's much scarier to do it with just Rise and Misfortune compared to Rise, Misfortune, and that Nunu, giving them that extra little bit of confidence to go in and actually dive in there. And so it's you know, it's just unfortunate that he had to use it on that earlier gank that really didn't benefit him in any way.
Right, and now I wonder if the latest patch would have affected that ult, if Salsi would have had that ult up again after the Karthus ult nerfs or not, and the Shen ult nerfs as well. Shen did manage to get into that fight and escape, but of course now that Shen ult, will that affect a future gank? Who knows? So after this latest patch, the nerfs on those global ults that TSM.Evo is running, it is a riskier comp, and you have to be even more careful with those global ults, as you're saying, than you were before.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You know, these nerfs are, sometimes it seems like mild tweaks. You know, adding a little bit to the cooldown timer can actually make a very significant difference to the way the game actually plays out. But we're seeing Aphromoo still not afraid to play a little bit aggressive here on the double buff Misfortune. So good job by him kind of reading the situation, knowing how aggressively he can play, when he can harass, and when he wouldn't be able to get away with it.
And Paradoxical looks like he was coming down from a gank, but he quickly got pinged out. They know their wards are. They know where all the wards are. It's very impressive. There are pings always on from Team Dynamic onto TSM.Evo's wards precisely. They also just pinged the ward and Tri-Brush there, so they have a very good idea about where these wards have been placed and what they can and can't get away with in terms of lane shifts and ganks at this point.
Yeah, a lot of brush wards going down here. We do see both wards, both brushes warded, I should say, here by TD. They really want to keep that Leona away from heading any kind of sneak attack vectors. They don't want to have her any kind of angle she can come from and really get that initiation on them, because they've seen how much damage Ephraim can do on that Sivir.
Yeah, and they do know that Unstoppable is lurking up there in the Tri-Brush. They do have a ward, and now the red buff on Zig is gone, so no more red buff on MF, and that blue buff will probably be expiring relatively shortly as well. And now we have some damage going down. Wings of Death is going to straight up dive Nidalee in top turret, but he is going to live due to a Shen ult. Very impressive, but here comes Atlanta for that final killing blow, and now that Shen ult is down, and he was killed all the same anyway. Exhaust going down from Atlanta. Oh, he's going to ult over the wall. He really wants this kill. I don't think he can get it, but he's going to dive it all the same. Let's see if he can. Nope, Exhaust going down at Atlanta. He did bait out that Summoner spell, though, but he did lose his his ult for it. And Salsi getting extremely low and dying. I'm sorry, I was too involved in that kill up top to see exactly what happened with Salsi. Paradoxical just straight up solos him through the exhaust, looks like. And Salsi also flashes out, so uses both of his summoner spells and still manages to eat it against Paradoxical. So really nice solo work there by Paradoxical coming back in this game. And TD is clawing their way back into contention, slowly but surely, now down only 800 gold.
Yeah, it turns out the Ryze is actually a pretty good champion. Does quite a bit of damage, able to really spam out those spells. And, you know, Karthus is a very vulnerable champion. He's really great at farming. He's really great at having a global presence. But if you get on him, it's pretty easy to actually go ahead and burn him down.
Yeah, it looks like TD wants to go back here in bot lane, firing off that MF ult, but having to cancel it a little soon because of the boomerang blade coming out of Aphromoo. And now we see MF going for this a very late Wriggles. She's not going to have much into the mid game compared to Aphromoo. I don't think. Aphromoo, of course, looks like he's going to be finishing up either a Bloodthirster or more likely probably an Infinity Edge. He just has that early Vamp Scepter for some sustain in lane. But he's going to be doing a lot more damage than MF for quite some time, I believe.
Yeah, and you know, with that movement speed and a buff on his ultimate, he's able to put out a lot of damage and have really good positioning in the team fights as well. So Misfortune is going to have to be very careful in her positioning, because if she gets burned down, and she is a fairly vulnerable AD carry, the fight could steamroll very quickly in the favor of Evo.
Right, Wriggle's Lantern being finished now, so she will have some durability, and she's really relying with this delayed 80 damage build on Blood Boil in order to keep her viable until she can pick up some late game items.
Yeah, but Blood Boil is so strong. It really does give her a lot. Yeah, it's pretty good. That's what I'm trying to say here.
It is pretty damn good. And Atlanta coming back into mid lane now. He has picked up his Wriggle's Lantern as well. Not a surprisingly small number of gold per fives in this game, all told. Looks like we've got... Let's see how top lane's been going. 4,200 gold on Nidalee compared to 4,800 on Jax. So not as behind as I would have thought, actually. Still in this Zion Spartan. He's just going to keep having to be zoned back to turret. He is only a level down, so very much in contention still. Maybe viable late game. Of course, Jax does reach that sort of uber hyper carry status, and he's going to be a lot scarier than Nidalee late game.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. You know, part of the problem with Nidalee is that she's great at counter pushing, but in a team fight, she leaves a lot to be desired a lot of the time. Thankfully, the kind of AD builds do tend to be a little bit more useful in team fights. You know, you can kind of put out that slow if you manage to get procs, things like that. But it's a struggle to find the balance between counter pushing and team fighting with her, I feel.
Yeah, it looks like Dragon is almost up, given the way the teams are moving around the map right now, and Ryze and Shyvana are warding currently. They're definitely wanting to pick up this second Dragon. It should probably be up, and I would guess, like within the next 30 seconds, given the positional movements on the map by both teams. They're going to leave their bot turret wide open, though, and Zig is just going to go ahead and try and take it down. Aphromoo busy doing golems, but he has red buff, and he is going to be coming back to lane. And there we go. The ping goes down on Dragon. It has just come up. They're not going to be able to get this turret. That's taking a lot of damage from Aphromoo there, but of course, the sustain from Wriggles will allow Zig to pull it up pretty quickly. Now, I'm surprised we don't see... It looks like we're going to see TSM.Evo moving in for it with a double Wriggles from Team Dynamic. I'm surprised they weren't more on top of it because they could do it really fast, but TSM.Evo is going to get a free Dragon.
Yeah, they are. I mean, Karthus allows them to do it so quickly. That single target damage is very high on something like Dragon, as well as we'll see that come into play later, probably on Baron, where Karthus is able to really kind of burn it down. And now we're going to see some initiation up here top on that in Italy.
Oh, let's see. Yeah, it looks like we're going to be setting up for some sort of counter gank scenario. And nope, they're just going to head out, and Nidalee's just going to hop over that wall. Oh, fail hop over that wall. Oh no, now Xayah Spartan's in big trouble because he screwed up that hop. Oh no, can he actually get out of this? Ignite going down, Karthus ult going down. Will the Karthus ult finish him off? And the answer is yes! Oh, what a tragic Nidalee hop right there. Cougar couldn't get over the wall. Fruitlessly pounding his face into the trees.
I don't want to alarm you, but I'm like 10 seconds in the future.
You are, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, looks like I am a little bit behind. I am going to just jump up to the live right now. Looks like we don't have any kills that happened during that time. It's from my backing up earlier. Sorry about that, guys. I was honestly afraid that Conley had found a time machine for a second, but it just turns out that I don't know how to jump to live.
It might be both. Don't rule it out.
That's right. It's not very scientific of me. Thanks for helping.
I do what I can. I do what I can. So now we're in a little bit of a scary moment in the game. The farm's pretty even. We have about a 1,000 gold advantage here for TSM.Evo. But it can go either way at this point. We're really going to have to see what kind of ganks are coming out right now. As we see bottom, Paradoxical looking to set something up here.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what is going to be happening with this lane gank coming in here. He is being very patient while Zig is pushing the lane. It's hard for them to control the lane based on Wriggle's procs right now, so I'm not really sure how long they're going to have to wait. They might just go to the next turret and then try and dive them after taking the tower down. MF is a little low on mana, and he's going to try and take this down. They're going to try and bait him out by using this turret. By threatening to take it down. Let's see if they can actually do it or not. Double up going down onto Aphromoo under turret. Unstoppable coming around here as Shen with his little oracles on. And he's going to see the ward up here in Tribrush. And I'm wondering if they're actually going to try and engage on this if they know that Unstoppable's there or not.
Yeah, this could be a very important engagement down here bottom. They're setting up for, Ryze is spending a lot of resources, a lot of time to actually set this up. But if nothing doesn't come from it, that's actually a negative cost in his, against his favor, I should say. So, he really kind of needs something to pay off from all this time that he's spending sitting here in bottom lane. It looks like, I'm not sure anything is going to.
Wow, he's been sitting there forever. And to his credit, though, he is not that far behind Karthus, considering the matchup in mid lane. You expect Karthus to get significantly more farm than Ryze, and he's only about 20 back, even though he's been sitting there forever for, like, 3 or 4 waves right now. Probably could be dead even if he wanted to be. They're still trying to bait this out. They really want this kill, and here he comes. He's decided to make his move. Ryze going to be flashing in onto Aphromoo and getting that Rune Prison out. Now Karthus ult's coming down onto TD. Unstoppable's taunt stopping Absolute Zero from Pixel. Now Exhaust going down Paradoxical, so he's not going to be able to run away, and all of that comes down to Paradoxical dying. What a tragic lane gank.
Yeah, it almost felt like there was a little bit of a Paradoxical getting impatient and kind of forcing the issue a little bit more than he probably wanted to. He didn't want to leave without benefiting from all that. ODC actually going to appear on top. Wins to death in a very bad spot. He is going to go down. But like I was saying, he felt like he needed to make that payoff from spending so much time. And tower diving that Sivir is a dangerous prospect. One, because they have a shut on the team, and two, just because Sivir's spell shield is so strong against something like that. Right,
exactly. Especially when your AP carry, which needs to do the damage with the spells that can be blocked, is going to be trying to tower dive there and taking the brunt of the damage. And you'll also notice that Ryze has opted for a Rotted Ages build instead of like a Glacial Shroud build, so a lot less armor will mean a lot less ability to safely tank turrets.
Yeah, that is a good point as well. A little bit of a sunk cost issue there, I believe economists will call it.
And Aphromoo picking up yet another red buff, and the double buffs on Aphromoo being extremely scary. Nidalee up in top lane down 1-3-1, but not too bad down on CS. Again, we do have a very narrow gold difference in this game, only about 1,200. So it's still definitely up in the air as to who can win this game. It will depend on the team fights. And in terms of team fight potential, I have to say TSM.Evo is pretty damn scary. Their team comp, I think, is much more suited to success in team fights, whereas I feel like, for the most part, TD was going to be relying on the laning phase in order to get an advantage, and that has not materialized to this point.
Yeah, you know, I'm a big fan of the kind of Leona-Karthus combination. I feel like when Leona is able to make a very good initiation, Karthus is very good at capitalizing on that and actually using it. A lot of times you'll see teams that have a lot of really great AoE initiation and lockdowns and things like that, and then the question is, well, okay, what do we do from there? And when you have a Karthus in your team, the answer is you go in and you do 1,000,000 damage per second to everybody, and it's like fantastic and beautiful and wonderful. And so we're going to have to see once the kind of team fight phase starts solidifying a little bit more here, if they're able to really capitalize on that kind of scenario.
Yeah, the other issue that I see for Team Dynamic is the number of exhausts that TSM.Evo has. I mean, right now, Team Dynamic doesn't have very many legitimate damage threats. It's Rise, and it's MF, basically. And so they're always going to be getting an exhaust on at least one of those guys in the fight. But now we're going to see a Dragon attempt here, see if we can get those Wriggles procs and get it down. But, oh man, it's going to be a 3v4 fight here at Dragon in TSM.Evo's favor. And they're just going to go ahead and take this, say thank you very much for doing the initial damage, and that MF ult is not going to get anything. And looks like blue team's going to pull it down, so that will be TSM.Evo, and Atlanta's going to die for it as well, kind of inexplicably, just getting out of position there, and a great engage by TSM.Evo is going to be able to take that down. Now Zion Spartan getting very low, and that Karthus ult is going to finish him off after he tried to duel Jax for the umpteenth time. Shen ult coming in on Jax to make sure he stays alive against Paradoxical. So big miscommunication there on Team Dynamic's part around that Dragon fight. Not really sure how that went so sour.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Karthus is pretty good.
Karthus is pretty good.
Karthus is pretty good. Yeah, so we've seen kind of a mixture today, throughout the entire day, of people banning Karthus and then people regretting not banning Karthus. I feel like those are the two scenarios that we've seen today.
I feel like this is a replay of the MLG Spring Championships where nobody decided to ban Reginald's Karthus, and then like every time it was some crazy Nocturne like Karthus ult gank, and that's how everybody lost the games, but nobody would ban him.
That sounds about right. That feels about right, yeah. Yeah, Karthus is pretty good. That's what I'm trying to say here. That's the moral of the story. But we are seeing just, you know, the power of TSM.Evo is like when they're grouped up, when they're moving together, they're very, very scary. We see this Shen now has that Ionic Spark, something we're seeing more and more of lately. And going to be able to counter push and use that ultimate to get to whatever team fight he needs to get to. Easy peasy.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Now the gold gap has increased to nearly 5,000 after that minor gap earlier in the game, so things looking a lot more dire for TV right now than they were just a few minutes ago due to that kind of catastrophic Dragon engagement.
Yeah, you know, things like that make a big difference. Not only not getting the Dragon yourself, but also giving it to the other team. That's a big gold swing. And then when you know, capitalize, when you add the kill on top of that, it's a really, really big gold swing.
And of course, Atlanta using that Dragon Bite to double hit those wards, very annoying. And you know, Shyvana's awesome with those oracles just because of how fast she can clear wards.
Yeah, that is true. That good old double stab is what to call it.
So
it's a technical term.
It's a technical term. So let's see what else is going to unfold here. Looks like TD is just milling around their jungle. They've got a lot of wards around Baron. They know that Shen has that oracles, but they're just trying to convince him, I guess, that he's killed all the wards by just placing more and more and more around so that they have some sort of ward on Baron at all times, which is working out. Shen has actually only found, you know, one of the 4 wards in the vicinity right now.
Yeah, well, that is certainly good. You know, it's crazy just how important this vision is. It's very difficult to keep it against a team that's well organized, moving around, and has that oracles on a good target for it. And, but they're doing a good job of trying their very best to keep it up.
And looks like Salsi's going to be donated the blue buff of Team Dynamic. And finally, Zig actually does have that IE, but of course, Aphromoo has IE and Phantom Dancer, so bit of a difference there. Perhaps, you know, MF will be a little bit hardier in terms of taking damage with the extra armor and sustain from Wriggles, but nowhere near the damage output of Sivir.
Yeah, Sivir is a little bit scary at this point. She does have that Phantom Dancer and IE. Going to be able to do a ton of damage very, very quickly in these team fights. And it looks like TD is actually interested in kind of forcing some action here around Baron.
Yeah, let's see if they actually manage to go for it. They know that they don't have any wards, but here comes TSM.Evo. Shen is bot lane, but of course he can port, so that's not really an issue. Sivir is not there. Aphromoo now running up. No, wait, he's actually heading into to go get red buff. If TD figures this out, that there aren't enough of them there, they could actually do it, but no, they're just going to back off, looks like, after pulling out that ward. So back to nothing. Almost a good Baron attempt there. Again, you know, the double wriggles from TD will allow them to do those global objectives very quickly, so they only need a little window of time, but that little window of time just wasn't quite long enough for them right there. And now it looks like TSM.Evo setting up for Baron. Dynamic knows this, and they are going to immediately come and start hunting for wards themselves, and now TSM.Evo has decided that it is the time to do it, considering they just saw Nidalee in bottom lane. Oh no, this is not going to go well. Shrelia is going down, but the Solar Flare slowing all the members of TD, and now Atlanta trying to Dragon Form out, but that's not going to work. Nat Nguyen getting blown up by MF, and Paradoxical getting split. Shen ult, Stand United going down on Nat Nguyen to save him, and a Wall of Pain going to allow slow down Paradoxical, but he will escape thanks to cover from Ziggs' MF ult. Now Pixel and Zion Spartan coming in from the bottom, but they will all reform in mid lane. Atlanta did die. He was chased down there, and that will be a free Baron for TSM.Evo.
Yeah, it's a really nice job by them. They knew they needed to pick off one person. If they really got a strong pickoff, they were going to have a chance at least to do this Baron. It looks like TD is not going to give it up for free, though. They are positioning to go back in. We see Unstoppable initiating here on Paradoxical.
Yeah, unfortunately, there are a lot of ults down right now for TSM.Evo. They may actually not be able to engage this fight, given the number of ults that are currently on cooldown. And now we have an Ignite going down on Nat Nguyen, and they are chasing him down. Will they be able to get a Solar Flare going down again? And he will fall underneath the mid-turn. Unstoppable now going down as well. Great engage there. Salsi flashing in with an immediate exhaust on the Paradoxical's Karthus, and now a double kill on Rise as he takes down Salsi. Karthus' ult, picking up Pixel as he runs, and a triple kill for Salsi as he also takes down MF. That was a crazy fight, Cumley.
That was a crazy fight. You know, you saw the positioning, you know, because the thing is, if TSM.Evo backs in that case, well, that gives a Baron to TD. And so they have to kind of still posture. They still have to be there to kind of protect it, but they were out of cooldown. Some of them were low on health, and we just saw that at least Salsi had the presence of mind to play very, very aggressively when he needed to. He knew he could get in there. He knew he was going to be able to do a ton of AoE damage, was going to be able to focus down Paradoxical very, very quickly, and at least punish them and kind of even it up, because if they get away with those kills, they go right to Baron, and that's very, very dangerous for Evo to deal with.
Right, absolutely. And now we have some more going on here. Let's see if anybody is going to be able to posture effectively for Baron. We do have a couple wards for each team, but they are on the brink of expiring, it looks like. And now Atlanta's going to go ahead and pick up the rest of this Wraith camp, and we're going to go back into farming mode. Gold difference a little less than 6,000, about 5,500 right now. So definitely an advantage in TSM.Evo's favor, but they did... I think that fight actually, even though it was an even trade, probably did more for... Oh, they're actually going to take it. They clear out the ward. They're going to go for this Baron. They see that there are two people in bot lane, and they're going to be able to take this Baron with these two wriggles, I think. And they should be able to take it, and so that will give a huge advantage to Dynamic. They are going to be able to take it. Now Solar Flare going down on 3 members of Team Dynamic as they get engaged. Nat Nguyen murdering, actually, Pixel's Nunu, while Atlanta goes down as well. So they did get Baron, but they lost their support and their jungler for it. And will that be worth it? I'm going to go with no.
Yeah, that's a pretty expensive Baron, I guess you could call it, right? Because not only do they lose 2 people, they are going to lose at least 1 tower off of that, and they still have about 20 seconds, and their tower kills are very quick. So are they going to choose to go for another tower kill here mid? It looks like they actually are.
And now they're going to do a dive now onto Zig, and wow, what an initiation between the Counter-Strike stun, and followed up by Nat Nguyen's abilities from Leona, Shield of Daybreak, and Zenith Blade. And now we have some damage going down. Nat Nguyen's going to fall to Zion Spartan and Paradoxical as they're going to chase him down, and they're going to proc the Guardian Angel right now. And will Aphromoo go down as well? No! A bait coming down. Salsi's going to get taken down by Zion Spartan. Now Karthus ult coming down. Atlanta now running in. He has respawned, and Pixel coming in as well. So now Pixel and Atlanta, the only ones up for TD, and Unstoppable and Wings of Death X make it out improbably, though Wings of Death X, his Guardian Angel, was triggered in that fight. So a 2... Oh, and we're going to see actually Aphromoo coming back in. Absolute Zero going down. Stand United going down is going to actually kill him, as Shen can't quite taunt him in time, but it is going to take down the rest of TD in the meantime. What a bizarre series of fights in this game. Zig now coming up as well. MF trying to protect this inhibitor from Aphromoo. Will he be able to save it? Yes.
Yeah, pretty scary. You know, Aphromoo a little bit low on HP and mana there, but you see how powerful Aphromoo on that Sivir can actually be. You know, Shen does die, but gets 2 kills onto the Sivir Fort. If you look at the 80 carries gold right now, we're sitting at about 13.5k for the Sivir. compared to about 10.2k for the Misfortune, and that's a pretty big difference. And so Ephraim is really going to become very, very strong in these team fights, and that's going to be very difficult for them to deal with.
And actually, Ephraim almost porting out on that ward, and with that low mana, might not have actually been able to duel Zig very effectively, but he is going to realize that and back out. So we're back kind of into holding positions in this game. No inhibitors down yet, but the gold lead has expanded to 8,000 in TSM.Evo's favor.
Yeah. Yeah, they are slowly but surely building up their lead. They're not doing anything, that they don't need to do. They're doing some nice dives when they need to on something like Misfortune, very good target, on something like Paradoxical, very good target, and they're executing them well enough that they're making little advantages build up more and more as the game goes on, and that's a lot of what you have to do is just take advantage of those really aggressive kills. And you have to look at a kill that you don't make as a loss for your team. And a lot of people, I think, don't analyze their play enough in that aspect. They don't say, oh, well, I didn't get a kill that I possibly could have gotten here. That was really bad of me. I think most people don't quite focus on that enough. We do see Nat getting a little bit caught out here in the bot lane. No, I'm just kidding. He's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
No problem. So looks like we're just going to be back to passively farming from Dynamics' perspective right now while they wait for something to happen. There are no Baron buffs anymore because everyone has died. So we're not going to be seeing that. I mean, this might just drag on until the next Baron, actually. This game might just keep going until we see another Dragon attempt, or another Baron attempt, excuse me, here. But that'll be a few minutes before either team is really committed to engaging inside the other's base.
Yeah, sounds about right. It's going to be a lot of posturing here. We do still have quite a bit before that Baron is back up. And, it's a lot of it is going to be just about controlling objectives at this point, and Shen is very good at that. Nidalee wants to try to split push, wants to kind of counter push, but if she does that, then Shen's going to do exactly the same thing and be able to actually participate in the video game that they're playing, which is League of Legends. I might die.
I'm mildly concerned about your death.
Oh, man. Choked on water. How do you... If I choked and died on water, I would want them to lie about my cause of death. Just lie.
I feel like no matter how you die, they're going to want them to lie about your cause of death.
Well, that's probably true. So he's fighting a tiger and he won. He killed himself out of respect.
And are we actually going to see some aggression here onto this inhibitor? Shen is split pushing away, as is his wont, and the Make It Rain zoning them out a little bit. And let's see here. Nope. TSM. So afraid to commit.
A little bit afraid. They have to be careful. They don't need to force the issue. They're happy with where they are, what they're doing right now. They do have that Shen poking up top lane, forcing the Shyvana to actually kind of react to him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad about TSM right now. I want them to get in there and do it. And there comes the Solar Flare, only hitting Paradoxical now. Shirelia's Reverie allowing Team Dynamic to retreat, but they really, really, really want this inhibitor. Wall of Pain going around to in order to zone them a little bit. Now Paradox coming around the other side. Rune Prison now, Atlanta coming in Dragon form, and we're going to see bullet time going down onto most of the members of TSM.Evo, and Salsa's going to fall almost immediately, but here comes the Karthus ult while they try and chase down stragglers, and will it kill anybody? A double kill from MF. I'm not really sure what exactly happened in the AoE mess of that fight. Unstoppable is still alive and gets taken down for the ace, so two members in the flashing red danger zone health on Team Dynamic managed to make it out of AoE madness, and all of TSM will go down for that ace. MF now fearlessly charging up mid lane, trying to take this turret with half health. What a weird fight. Yeah.
Weird fight is a good way of describing that. You saw how spread out everybody was getting. People were going in crazy directions. All kinds of crazy things going on. Crazy.
And yeah, that Karthus ult not quite doing enough to fix it. And Wings of Death, oh, maybe that is actually what happened. Wings of Death might have been lagging again, which could have caused the outcome of that fight. And we are going to see yet another pause. So while we wait for this, I guess it's time for a brief water/commercial break for your darling cast.